and welcome to this video where I'll be going through the care and maintenance of maps. So, what is a map? Well, simply put, it's a two-dimensional representation of the terrain. They're drawn to scale and they're generally quite accurate. And what do we use maps for? Well, there's the obvious recreational purposes such as walking, hiking, cycling. We also have the military purposes, so for planning and conducting operations, accurate mapping is essentially important. But on a more mundane day-to-day, building, planning, town and city planning and development all require very, very highly accurate maps to be drawn. So, what form do these maps come in? Well, on your phones or your tablets, we've got digital maps in the form of the Ordnance Survey app, of Google Earth, of Apple Maps. These are all digital representations of the ground and of the terrain to varying levels of detail. The Ordnance Survey being the UK authority on digital mapping, and some of these digital services providing major features such as roads, buildings and other kind of main waypoints. More traditionally, we have paper maps. So what we'll do now is we'll have a little bit more of a closer look at some of the paper map variations. When we first receive our map, it'll come in either two forms. Generally from a military map store, maps are stored flat, so we'll get them rolled up in a row like this. If we buy a map from a shop, it will come pre-folded and it'll come with a cardboard cover. On this cardboard cover, it's very useful. We have the index of the map on the end, so if we have lots of maps stacked up, we can easily see which one we want. It tells us in the front what map is, what the scale on the map is in the area that's covered, and on the back we have a thumbnail, we have a ground general telling us exactly what map square is covered, and then we have a ground detail map square telling us exactly what area is covered on this map itself. The road map, however, doesn't contain this information because typically these maps are ordered in bulk. The first thing I'll do is I'll show you how to get your map from the rolled state into the folded state so we can use it. So let's take a look at how we'd fold our map. The maps come rolled. Typically they'll be one-sided. We'll have the map information printed on one side and the back will be blank. It's the blank side that we want to fold away and hide. It doesn't contain any useful information. With my map rolled out, you can see that it's quite bulky and it's quite vulnerable to damage. First thing we want to do is we're going to fold the map in half, making sure that we hide the blank side and on both sides we have presented the map information. So we're going to fold the map long ways. With the map turned over, I'm going to bring the two ends together, line up my two ends and start the crease down in the middle. With both ends lined up, I can run down and create the crease. Next then, we want to start creating map folds where we can concertina the map to make it much easier to look up information anywhere on the map. The easiest way to do that is to create a number of master folds. So first of all, I'm going to fold the map in half, long ways, bringing in the corners, making sure the end is lined up, and then running my hand down to create the crease in the middle. With one crease created, I then want to fold the map back again, line up the edge, and create another major crease. I'll do the same on the other side. With those major creases created, I can then start folding the map in to create my main concertina folds. Starting with one edge, fold it in, up level with the crease, and fold. Flip the map over and do the same again. and we're going to keep going until we have the whole map folded. Now, with a map folded long ways, the only thing that's left for us to do is fold it in half. And here we have a map that's gone from rolled, where it's been unwieldy, into a much easier folded form, where now we can flip out and we can look at the map on either side, making all the useful information ready to us. Now it's ready to place into your map case. Now that we've got our map folded, we've solved one of the problems. It's slightly less vulnerable to damage and misuse. However, if we're taking this map in and out of pockets, if we're using it on a multiple day expedition, it's going to get dog-eared, it's going to get ragged, it's going to get wet and it's going to get damaged. And a damaged map isn't really any use to anybody. So we're going to need to look after this. A number of options are using map cases. We can have purpose-built map cases. They're pliable, they're robust, they will keep our map waterproof, but also it will allow us to use permanent pens or Chinagraph pencils to mark routes, to plot bearings, and generally to plot waypoints or other useful features on the map without damaging or writing in the map itself. Other options are clear storage bags, such as this reusable bag with a zip sealed top. This will keep the map waterproof and protect it from grubby fingers. Or, the simplest and cheapest option is just to use one of the large sandwich bags with a zip seal top that you can get from a supermarket. Not as robust as some of the more expensive options, however, for a typical cadet exercise or a 1 or 2 night Duke of Edinburgh expedition, something like a good robust sandwich bag will do the job just fine. So, how do we go about getting our map with the useful areas showing into our map case? Because we'll already have the map folded, all I need to do is open the map out to present the area that I'm going to be walking in, fold that map over using the folds that are existing, and with that map folded, not only can I see today's route, but I can also see over the map for tomorrow's route. Being able to see further on the map than you think you need is also quite important when it comes to finding your position. It may be that the nearest feature, the most obvious feature you can see, is on a hill 10 kilometres away, but if you've just cut out and you're just presenting the small area that you think you're going to be working in, you will miss those features. Now with our map folded, we can place the map into our protective case, and we can seal up the top. And even when it's in here, we can still continue folding the map so it can fit down our waistband, it can go in our bag, or it can go in one of our pockets or pouches. So map cases are essential for looking after and protecting the map when you're out in the field or on an expedition. Let's have a look at some of the extra information that's contained within maps. Ordnance Survey Great Britain produces 2 types of map. They have the 1 in 25,000 Explorer series map, and on these maps we have a 4 centimetre grid. Each 4 centimetre grid square equates to 1 kilometre on the ground. Their Land Ranger series is their 1 in 50,000 map series. Here, a 2 centimetre grid square on the map equates to 1 kilometre square on the ground. So, on a 1 in 25,000 map, we can contain 4 times as much information within that 1 kilometre grid square as we can on the 1 in 50,000 map. Having a look at the Land Ranger, or the 1 in 50,000 map. Every map will have a title, and it will have a map square grid on it. This equates to the Ordnance Survey National Grid. So, instead of saying the map name, we can just say that this is a Land Ranger 115 map, or 115. Also contained in the map, we have an amount of marginal information. This information contains useful things such as the map symbols for that particular map, but more importantly, for navigation at the bottom, we also have magnetic information. Here we have the magnetic offset between grid, magnetic and true north at the time that the map was produced. We also have other information about basic map reading in grid squares, and we have the date that the map was produced. Obviously, older maps may contain slightly out-of-date information, so it's important we try to use the most up-to-date map possible. So, to summarise very quickly, we've had a look and we've talked about what a map is, we've had a look at some of the different types of maps, and we've also looked at how to fold and how to care for a map. Remember, you mustn't draw on a map or write on a map directly. Always use a waterproof cover to protect the map itself, to stop it getting grubby and wet, but also that's where you can plot your bearings or you can plot your routes directly onto the covering. Having looked forward into future lessons, we can look forward to having an explore of some of the map symbols and what some of the features on a map will mean, but also how to relate those to the ground. How can we navigate using a map?